Hey everyone, Guard Leaf here. How's everyone doing? I'm just continuing on. Did an earlier video about why the 51st state stuff bothers us so much, and I said on my last video I needed to get some aircon. So I don't know when I'll be publishing this video, but this is just a kind of a continuation from that one. But if you haven't seen that video, I'll leave a link to it in the description below. But what I did mention before is that person that emailed me saying that why are we so upset about the 51st state stuff. I gave my reasons, but there was also a part 2 question on that. And the part 2 question was actually directed at me, basically saying, why do I care so much? Because I'm not even in Canada right now. Well, let me answer that. I don't understand why people think that, oh shit, I totally forgot. Let me introduce or kind of show you guys where I am right now. This is the Pavilion Mall. This is kind of like one of the busiest intersections in Kuala Lumpur. This area is called Bukit Bintang. And yeah, you have all of the designer brands and I guess designer brands here. And this mall is called the Pavilion Mall. So yeah, it's just kind of a central area where a lot of tourists are here. And yeah, I'm a shitty tour guide. I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, what I was saying is that the person asked me, why do I even care? Because I'm not even in Canada. Well, I have a question. I mean, and it kind of bothers me a little bit every time I hear this, but people saying that, you know, it holds less value because I'm talking about Canada, but I'm not even in Canada. Go ahead. Do I have to be in Canada to actually have a say for the country that I'm born and raised in? I don't understand that. But you know, to answer a valid question, why do I care so much because I'm not even in Canada? Well, it's my home. I mean, yeah, I might be here for work, and you know, I'm not a resident, or I am a resident, but I'm not a citizen, and sorry. I don't understand it. I mean, there's millions of Canadians, US citizens, other people around the world that travel the world. They reside in different places, and you know, but their home is still their home country. But why do I do it? You know, I think when I started this channel last year, you know, I kind of, yeah, obviously the 51st state stuff bothered me and bothered a lot of us as well, right? But a lot of people might not know is that me moving away, this is my second stint away. So it's not like it's the first time I've ever moved away from Canada. And, you know, the first time I moved away, it actually really opened my eyes. You know, before I moved away the first time, I was definitely in my bubble in Vancouver. And I really didn't imagine myself living overseas. But not only that, I didn't imagine, well, I don't want to say, I didn't realize how sheltered I was in Canada until I moved away. And, you know, I truly feel that when you move away from your home country or even your hometown, and you go experience another area, even if it's within your own country, it starts to open up your perspective on things. And yeah, I guess I had my epiphany before COVID. But moving away this time, and especially this time with all of the drama with our crackhead neighbors, made me realize, you know what, I'm very grateful to be Canadian. And it doesn't matter if I'm not living in Canada. You know, I hope I'm representing Canada the best I can overseas. I know I'm saying sorry a lot. That's probably a first sign that I'm Canadian, but funny enough, I actually didn't realize how much I was saying it until it was on a video and people started mentioning it. So yeah, actually here's a cool note. This here is Chaggy. It's like a tea, bubble tea place or something I usually call it. But this right here where I'm in right now is like one of the busiest intersections in Kuala Lumpur. And this building here, where the Chaggy is now, used to be a Starbucks. And Starbucks didn't survive. So that's pretty telling when one of their busiest locations and most prestigious addresses can't Starbucks can't survive. So I gotta cross the road. They have one of these crosswalks where all directions stop at the same time, so it's kind of chaos at times. It's not busy right now. I mean, it's still, 36 degrees, but it feels like 38 right now. But, shit, what was I talking about? No, the Starbucks. It was, it couldn't survive here. And the reason is for multiple reasons. Here in Malaysia, the war in the Middle East factors in a lot too. But back to what I was saying is like, why am I doing this? And moving away made me kind of realize how fortunate we are in Canada. I mentioned in previous videos, the previous place that I worked in. Okay, the music's probably pretty loud. I'm gonna try to move really quickly. I was living in an area or a country that was, it did have poverty, and it did have, a big discrepancy between low and middle and high, the higher class citizens, or not citizens, but wage-wise. And I got to really realize that, all the stuff that we're dealing with in Canada, which I'm not saying Canada's perfect, I mean, it's far from perfect. There's a lot of places outside in other worlds or other countries that have way worse situations than what we're dealing with in Canada. And that's why I said, the first time I left and then I came back, I was like, I'm not going to complain about Vancouver traffic anymore. And I'm not going to complain about, bike lanes. I used to complain about bike lanes all the time, which, I still feel I have a justification for that because, living downtown, these bike lanes were all over the place, and then you got these cyclists who don't even use the bike lanes. I don't know. Sorry, I'm just venting right now. But my point is that there's a lot of things I used to complain about that I don't complain about anymore. And, I made myself realize that, hey, you, in a sense, I was acting like a spoiled little shit. And I'm not afraid to admit that. I understand that, and I can see it in some of my friends right now. They're still acting like that. I don't say anything, but not everybody's going to understand this in their lifetime, right? Anyways, what you're looking at right now, if you go down that road, there's the night market. I did a video a while ago on it, but it's probably the same. Not much people right now, because it's a night market, so it'll start to get livelier around 6 or 7 o'clock, and right now it is 4 o'clock, and I've done my about 12,300 steps so far, so I'm probably going to get home after this and get a little bit of rest. But I just wanted to mention that, why do I do this? It's because moving away actually made me realize more about how fortunate we are at home. And, when I go to the embassies, or not the embassy, but the consulates, I had to go to a consulate here not too long ago, and even in the previous country I was living in, when you go to the consulates, you got the locals that are trying to get into our country, and whether it's for work or a visit or whatever else. But it made me realize that, look, we're fortunate enough to hold a Canadian passport, and I don't think a lot of people are going to realize that until they leave. And if they leave and experience another culture, experience another country and their pain points, see what other people actually go through, until that happens, I don't think people will realize it. Some people will realize it. Now, I know a lot of Canadians who live overseas are watching my channel as well, and I know you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. And yeah, I had my epiphany, I think just before COVID. But when it comes to, my channel and why I do this, I'm going to continue it. And to be honest, I feel a lot more patriotic now than even living at home. And the reason for that is, I have lots of opportunity to talk to people, within Southeast Asia, even Europe, through my work. And everybody knows I'm Canadian. They all know that what's going on. And I'm like their go-to person on, when we're having meetings, someone will just bring it up saying, hey, I heard the president wanted to take your country over again. Say, he's mentioning 51st state again. I'm like, yeah, and I fill them in. I tell them from a Canadian point of view. I wouldn't be able to do that if I was in Vancouver. So yeah, I kind of feel like I'm helping, I guess, at least educate those around me to tell them what is real, what's not. But it's the original question. Why do I do this? It's because I want to. I don't have to. I mean, I could just create videos and go for the clicks and try to get revenue, which is not my intent. I mean, yeah, the AdSense revenue, it does help, but it's not like retirement and quit my job help. But there are other creators out there that are, everyone has their own goal. For me, money is not my goal. And I think I've proven that to everyone by not taking sponsorship deals. I just don't feel right about it. But what living abroad, yeah, like I said, it kind of opened my eyes and made me more patriotic. I'm just sorry, guys. I'm walking to the computer store. This place is called Loyat Plaza, or Plaza Loyat, and let me show you. I mean, this is, if you're into like computers, mobile phones, tech kind of stuff, this is like the mall you need to go to. It's like my go-to place for anything computer-wise or phones or anything like that. But I guess to kind of close off this video is to let everyone know that everyone has a choice. Like I said, I have a choice to continue this or not, and I have a choice on what my goal is with this channel. My goal is to make everybody informed. Are other channels like that? No. Other channels, they got their own reasons. Some of channels that I know that are talking about Canada, they're not even from Canadian citizens, or from content farmers that are just here for the clicks. Oh man, there's another FIFA sign. Lenovo, boo, boo FIFA. But yeah, I just wanted to let everybody know that, hey, that's the reason why I continue. I don't feel that I'm any less of a Canadian because I'm not in Vancouver. I mean, hell, I still hold a passport. I'm not renouncing my citizenship. I'm as Canadian as anybody else is, right? But do I miss home? Of course. I think about home every day. My family and friends, and things that I used to take for granted that I am now missing. One of the biggest things I miss from home right now is the seawall. And I used to have the seawall literally a 5-minute walk from my doorstep. And now I don't have any seawalls. I got a few lakes that I can walk around, but they're not the same as walking around Stanley Park or Falls Creek Seawall, or even Cole Harbor. So there's a lot of things that I do miss, and eventually I'll get back home. I'm still 100% hoping that I can get back during September for a visit. But the goal of this video, I guess, is to make sure that everybody understands why I'm doing this. And no matter where I am, if I do have to get relocated somewhere else again, I'm always going to be Canadian, and nothing's going to change that. There's nothing in the world that would convince me to give up my Canadian citizenship. And to be honest, I wouldn't even do a dual citizenship thing. I mean, for me, it's really just, I know where my home is, right? Even if I'm temporarily relocated to somewhere else. So yeah, I guess that's really it for this video. It was just a continuation on from the last one because I couldn't get this guy's questions in all in one video. But if you want to take a look at his first question, which was, why do you care so much about the 51st state rhetoric? He's only joking. I'll leave a link in the description below and you can take a look at that video. All right, everyone, I'm gonna go do some window shopping in the computer store, so I will catch you all later.